Hey everyone, it's John here from MCKAY, back with another video. This video is on the Canucks. Some big Canucks trades happening soon, potentially. Obviously, we've talked about it in other videos. Tyler Myers, Tanner Pearson, JT Miller, go down the list, Niels Höglander. So just to look at a few names here and what we could see. I mean, JT Miller has been tied to the Islanders, and I know Islanders fans have been pushing back. No Dobson, no this, no that. So this came from an Islanders fan, and I don't think it's enough. I think if at the Islanders' perspective, you probably have to include it first here. And if you're scared of the whole situation with like the Bedard potential, if you feel like you're not good enough, then you protect the first round pick. But I feel like it has to be a first round pick if it's just Viveiros and Mayfield, or even take a contract back in a sense. So it's interesting. But then you look at the big hot take and you see the 1-for-1 with Dobson for JT Miller. So like keepers in there. But I have seen Islanders fans say no Dobson. I've seen some Canucks fans say Dobson first in a prospect, like nuts on both sides. I think maybe you meet in the middle and see a Dobson for Miller. I saw an article from Ben Kuzma. He talked about it. But then again, guys, as I'm making this video, I don't know. Maybe low-key Lou Lamoriello has an agreement with Noah Dobson and they're waiting. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Canucks do trade Höglander. I even think, the Golden Knights could be a team. I don't know if they want to trade in division. I have suggested maybe Höglander to the Devils. So we'll just keep going here and have the conversation. But JT Miller to the Islanders, I wouldn't shut it down just yet. But I think there's other teams that have more of a potential. I wouldn't do this trade. I saw it from a Canucks fan. Are you crazy? Like Garland for Severson. I think in the potential of you signing Sonny Milano, I think that's intriguing. But I would say I think you need to ask for more, or just Damon Severson, like he's got like 1 year left. I like Garland. I think Garland is not something you just give away. Yeah, Severson's a need for the Canucks in terms of the right shot, but I wouldn't just rush it out. And I mean, to get Hronek from from the Red Wings after the Devils trade, I don't mind it in terms of dumping the Myers contract. And Hronek would be a good piece on that right side, but like then you have Severson and Hronek. Like there's no need for the Garland trade if you're going to do something like that. Like just keep Garland and then get Hronek, and then you have Hronek and Schenn in your top four. Like Schenn played well enough to that be a decent top four. So that one's interesting. But again, look at these hot takes, guys. I want to pull this up. So Jamie Benn, we've talked about that hot take in the past, like Jamie Benn, the Vancouver, the BC represent. So if you were to dump the Tyler Myers, I'm pretty sure he's from Texas, Myers and Pearson. Yeah, like I'll just check this as I'm making the video, but I'm pretty sure Myers is an American-born Canadian, which is kind of funny. But Bratt could be a target for the Canucks. I think when you talk about a guy that even Elliot Freeman and Jeff Merrick were talking about it, Bratt and the Devils, it seems like contract extension or contract talks in general, because he's an RFA, haven't gone well at all. So I would say the Canucks could take advantage of that. Garland's been tied, both Garland and JT Miller have been tied to the Devils. So if you trade one of those guys, maybe attach Niels Höglander, get Bratt. Bratt could be quite the get for the Canucks. And next to Pettersson, Swedish connection there. So just the other one I have there. So JT Miller, if not to the Islanders, I think the Hurricanes could be one of the teams. Yeah, he was born in Houston, Texas. So Tyler Myers is an American-born Canadian. Hey, looks like I know some shit, you know? But yeah, I think Tyler Myers, Dallas, that could be a fit. We've talked about it. And then Tanner Pearson would make the money work, make it even with Jamie Benn. But that contract with Jamie Benn, I think that's such a reach. I'm just kind of throwing out the idea because if the Canucks want to try to dump contracts, you could even try to convince the Stars to take on like Tucker Poolman. But Jamie Benn, I think he's got like 3 years left at 9-something mil. So that's a lot for the Canucks to take on. But if you were dumping a few contracts, maybe it's worth the Canucks' time. Jamie Benn next to like Pettersson, and in this case, Bratt would be pretty nuts. But in terms of a package from Carolina, Marty Necas, Ethan Bear, first-round pick, I think that's not bad. I love the potential with Necas. I think he's going to have a big bounce-back year. He's still early 20s, and I think the fact that he put up like half a point per game, I think Necas could still be huge for a Canucks team that's trying to go through like somewhat a retool. So I think if you bring in Necas, just to look at some potential lines here for the Canucks if they make like moves like this, I think this could be unreal. You'd have a top line, again, Jamie Benn's probably a stretch, but say you don't get Ben. Like, you could have Kuzmenko with Pettersson and Bratt. Like, Pettersson and Bratt is your top duo, and then have Horvat and Besser. So your top duo, Pettersson, Bratt, Horvat, Besser, and then a third line of Mikheyev, Natchez, and Podkolzin. I'd love that for the Canucks. And then Dowling, Dickinson, and Lazar. You kind of revamp that fourth line. And then you have Ethan Bear on that right side of the defense. Just because they brought back Ethan Bear on a contract doesn't mean they... Like, it's the same thing with Puljujarvi in Edmonton. Yes, they got him on a one-year deal, but that can make it easier to trade him as well. So it's going to be interesting with this scenario with 22 in the roster. The Canucks, the cap space does work. So interesting. And I just saw some guy on Armchair GM, just to throw this in here. It's kind of funny. NHL 23 on this. Bro, look at these trades, man. This is why sometimes like people can't be taking this too seriously. And I know I make videos sometimes based on Armchair GMs, but like obviously I'm not going based on this, but just look at this shit that's being thrown out right now. But yeah, look out for maybe Sam Girard in trades. And I mean, I guess that's what the Canucks are looking for in terms of a package, but the Leafs ain't doing that. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that like button. Hit the notification bell. And let me know what moves you think the Canucks can make, what kind of trades so they can still sign a guy. Are they going to move Myers, Pearson, Miller? Who are they moving? Could they target a guy like Bratt? I think Bratt could be a really realistic target. And I think Carolina is one of those teams that could make it work. And Marty Natchez should definitely be a target for the Canucks as well in that trade. Again, I don't think it's realistic that the Islanders will trade Dobson. I know the Canucks and Canucks fans have wanted a guy like Dobson on that right side. It would be a really good fit. But I think a guy like Ethan Bear or like a defenseman like that could be a more realistic option, and then getting like a guy like Natchez. So thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you on the next video stream. And again, as I said, comment your thoughts on the Canucks down below.